Alright, in this video, I am going to create this beautiful tunnel tube animation by using the Blender geometry node and also add the material to this and also a displacement to this wave texture. So how we can create this beautiful animation, and if you like this kind of procedural stuff, then you can visit my Patreon where you find a lot of procedural animation. So how we can create this? Now let's jump into the tutorial. Alright, I am going to start with the mesh line in geometry node. So for that, here I select this cube or any mesh in the 3D viewport and enter into the geometry node workspace. And here I hit this new button to create a new node tree. And here I select this group input, delete this, and shift A to search for the mesh line and connect this with the group output. Now we have this mesh line in our 3D viewport. And I want to rotate this along the x-axis. So for that, here I search for the another node, which is the transform geometry node, and place it here. And here in rotation, I change this y angle to 90 degree. So we have mesh line rotate along the x-axis, something like that. Now I want to make 4 different copies of this mesh line. So for that, here I search for the another transform geometry nodes and connect it here. And here I search for the join geometry and place it here. Now we have this. And here in the y-axis, I translate this double line to 1 meter, something like this. Now we have this. And also I connect the transform geometry with this to get the previous line. Now we have 2 lines in our 3D viewport. I want to make 2 more copies. So for that, repeat the same process. Here I search for the again transform geometry node and place it here. And also join geometry. Here I search for the join geometry and connect it here. And here in this transform geometry node, here I change this z axis to 1 meter, something like that. And also connect from this join geometry, I connect this with the last join geometry node. Now we have this, and also from this transform geometry, we connect with this join geometry. Now we have 4 different mesh line in our 3D viewport. Now I want to make them in the center of this 3D cursor. So for that, here I search again for the transform geometry node and place it here. And here I change this value. You can see we translate our these mesh line in the center. We can see this in the top view. And here I put minus 0.5. Now they have in the center along the y-axis. Now I want to move these line in the middle of the 3D cursor along the y-axis. So for that, here I decrease this, and here I put minus 5, something like that. And here in the mesh line, I increase this count to 11. So we have these 4 mesh line in the center of the 3D cursor. Nice. Now I want to make some tube-like structure to these mesh line. These are the mesh. So we first convert this from mesh to curve, and place it here. And then again, here I search for the curve to mesh node and connect it here. And here I search for the curve circle and connect with the curve profile. Now we have this kind of structure. And here I hit this fill cap, you can see, and here I decrease this, something like that. Now we have this, and here I turn on the cavity. Now you can see this clearly. And here I also increase the resolution to 64 because I want to add the displacement in the material panel. So for that, here move this node here, and these are the mesh. So here I search for the subdivision mesh and place it here. and here I increase this resolution up to 5. You can see this in the wireframe view, and here you can see 5. Now we have this kind of pattern. Beautiful. Now I want to make these tubes some twist. So for that, here in the modifier, and here I add the simple deform modifier and place it here. Make sure your simple deform modifier is below the geometry node modifier, so you can see. And here I increase this angle to 360 degree. Now we have this kind of pattern, and this is along the x-axis. So here I select this geometry node modifier, and now we have back this geometry node workspace, and here I want to add the material. So here search for the set material and place it here, and here in the material properties I hit the new button to create a new material and grab this material in the set material node. Now we have this, and I make these twisting tube very large. So for that, here I increase this count number to make them very large, something like that. So we can set our camera here and see the first twist here to make this animation. Now we have that. Now we enter into the material workspace and also in the material panel. So we can see our changings. Before creating a material for this pattern, here I add a camera to our scene. Press Control 3, so we can see these waves in left orthographic view. And here I search for the camera, something like that, and Control Alt 0 to see our camera. Now we have this kind of pattern, and by selecting this camera, we enter into the camera properties, and here I decrease this focal length to find some suitable. I think here is looking nice. Now our camera is set in the 3D viewport, and here you can see our spiral tunnels and having a twist at the very center of this camera. Now select this, and now I want to create the material. So for that, here I search for the color ramp and place it here, and connect this with the base color of this. Now we have this, and here I search for the wave texture and connect this with the color ramp. Now we have the waves, and press Ctrl T to add the texture coordinate and mapping. And this shortcut will work if you enable the not regular add-on in Blender. And here I connect this object. Now we have the wave texture on all of these 4 tubes. Now we have this, and here I want to make some changes in the wave texture. Here I decrease this number, something like this, and also the detail to 0. Now we have this kind of pattern, and here I make this color ramp to the B spline and move this something like here, and I also want to add the displacement to this wave texture. So for that, here I search for the displacement node and connect this with the displacement of the material output. And here I connect this color with the height of this displacement. So you can see, and to see this displacement, you should be in the rendered view, and here in the material properties of this material, and here in the displacement, here is select the bump only. I convert this to the displacement, and now you can see the displacement, and make sure you are in the cycle render engine. And now here I increase the displacement to this wave texture, So for that, here I increase this scale value. Decimal displacement, I think 0.020 is really nice. You can see this displacement clearly here, and here you can see displacement, and that will be camera view. Now we have the sign of pattern. Now I want to add the color. So for that, here I duplicate this color ramp and place it here, and here I select this and make the color something like this kind of color, and also select this black finder and make this color something like that. Nice. You can see this color in the displacement area, and the displacement is very large to decrease their depth. So for that, here I select this white border and decrease this number. So you can see the second layer. Here I select this. Beautiful. Now we have this material to these tunnel tubes. Now I want to add the animation to this pattern. So for that, here I select this phase offset in the wave texture and change this to make some animation. You can see clearly in the material view, not in render view. And here you can see the wave pattern. So back to the 0, and here I create a new timeline. Something like that, and convert this to the timeline. And here I end this frame of this animation to the 120, and I always start from the 0 to make this animation fully looping. And here I hover this phase offset value of this wave texture and hit I to insert the keyframe. Now jump to the last frame, which is the 120, and here I choose any even number like 4 multiplied with pi, hit enter, and hit I to insert the keyframe. Now our animation is fully looping. And you can see at the end of the 120 frame, there is no jerk in our animation, and our animation is fully looping. Now I want to add some light to this scene and make the composition. So for that, here I enter into the layout and enter into the camera view, and also enter into the view. And see, I transparent background and an HDRI, and here I increase this strength of this HDRI to 0.3, very little. And here you can see in the film I choose this transparent. So for that, I enter into the composition and hit this use node button, and I want to make these background fully black. So for that, here I search for the alpha over node and connect it here, and connect this with the second image. And now we have the white background, but I want fully black background. So for that, here I decrease this, make this color black, and I have a fully black background in our scene. Now back to the, and you can see this. Here I select this always, and here in the render properties, and here I select this render region. So we can see only our camera in the scene. Now we have this. Now I want to add the light to this scene. So for that, here I search for the area light and something like this, and rotate this light to the x-axis. So for that, or y minus 90 degree. So you can see our light is fully rotate along the x-axis, and here I press G X to move this light in the front of the camera, and see in the camera view, and move this light something like here, and also adjust this so you can see the light effect something like that. And here I make some changes in the light properties of this area light, and here I decrease this light intensity very small, something like that. Now we have this kind of pattern. And if I press F12, you can see this in rendered view. This is the final render of this tunnel tube animation. Thanks for watching.